Hey, Tom Brannon along with Trey Reid from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. It is a big week for waterfowl hunters in Arkansas. The opening of duck season happens this weekend. Trey, you're no stranger to hunting and duck hunting and deer hunting. How you feeling about this season?
You know, Tom, I'm feeling better than I did, say, about a month ago when we were in the midst of a flash drought you know, I mean, we were in extreme drought in some parts of the state, and water is the #1 determining factor for duck abundance in the natural state.
Right, and growing up, you hear you got to have the ducks and you got to have water. It helps to be cold as well.
It does.
Checking in with some of the areas of Arkansas that have water, it appears as if the eastern, northeastern, and southeastern part of Arkansas are not in drought anymore. So certainly some good news there.
It is.
And they have a little water.
It is, because and that's the Delta, right? The Mississippi Alluvial Valley. That's, you know, the eastern third of Arkansas. It's the kind of right down the pipeline of the Mississippi Flyway there, and so that is where most of our duck hunting activity takes place. So it is good that those areas have some water. Now, how much water is the other thing. Being out of drought and having an abundance of water for waterfowl are a couple of different things. And, you know, again, I am not mad about the rains we've had. Well,
neither are we.
Right. You know,
neither are we.
I mean, in the burn bans, you know, there's a lot of good things. You know, we didn't want drought, but we could stand some more on the duck front. You know, when we have a lot of that sheet water in agricultural fields, when we have bottomland flooding in the river systems like the Cache, the White River, that's when the duck hunting really gets good in Arkansas. And you know, the White did reach flood stage up around Augusta last week, I guess, with that other big rain, and so probably that area may be, you know, we did have some overbank flooding there, but we could use some more. Now, I will say, you tell me a cold front's coming through.
Right, we have a cold front that'll come through, and that front will cool us off heading into the weekend. It'll be colder early in the mornings, and during the day will be near average. We're coming off what could quite possibly be the warmest fall on record.
I
believe us?
I believe it, yeah. I was talking to some guys in the parking lot at Game and Fish yesterday. One of them who works for a local camouflage company and another Game and Fish employee. So guys that are plugged into things. And, you know, we were talking about, we just really haven't had a fall. I mean, you know, we've had, you know, the temperatures have dipped for a day or two and then they come back up. And again, we want to talk about ducks, like the water is one thing, but the cold is too. I mean,
well, and a lot of this happens upstream. If the ducks are not influenced to fly down by cold air up there, then they're not going to come down.
Well, and you know, we do have some ducks that are going to come down on those early cold fronts, like our blue-winged teal in September. We have, they call them the Halloween mallards, that tend to show up around the end of October, 1st of November, despite, you know, warm temperatures or lack of water. But that, you know, mallard ducks in particular, they're only going to go as far as they have to. We need snow to cover up their food sources. We need the water to turn to ice in lakes and rivers in Wisconsin and Minnesota and eastern Montana and the Dakotas and Iowa, and that's not happening yet.
They have to have an excuse, and it hasn't gotten cold up north. Now, there is a system that's kind of taken shape over the Midwest and the Great Lakes states that may finally allow for some of that to occur. It's going to get cold there, but you're right. Is it enough to drive those ducks out if the waters are not frozen on the lakes?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You know, it's like people. Some ducks, if they feel that north wind, and especially if there's like a full moon, let's travel. It's time to go. And then there's others that are going to linger as long as they can. But you know, here's the other thing. I want to try to put things in context. It's early, okay? I mean, our duck season opens relatively early, in my opinion. I think the hunting really gets good in Arkansas mid-December through mid-January. That month I think is when it's the best it's going to be. And you know, we're still almost a month out from that right now.
I have to share with you though that winter in Arkansas may be influenced by a certain phenomenon that we're all too familiar with here. 3 out of the last 4 years, we've had a La Niña. We're forecast to have a La Niña this winter as well. And in case you're wondering what that means, go ahead, Perry. Let's take the graphics. What a La Niña for Arkansas means: typically milder than average temperatures and below average precipitation.
I don't like either one of those things, Tom.
I am so sorry. But it's a weak La Niña, and there are signs, just looking at the data, it won't last long, and we'll return back to neutral by springtime. But when I think of La Nina, I also think about severe weather. But in terms of hunting and duck hunting, yeah, it may be that the reason that we're so warm now could be a little bit of that La Nina, and we just haven't cooled off.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't want to give the wrong idea. There are ducks in Arkansas right now. There will be, Arkansas will be one of the top states in the country in duck harvest this year.
Sure,
because we are where we are. Yeah. How hot is it? You have a mosquito landing on your forehead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you had one on your arm. I got to tell you, real quick story. I used to go duck hunting with Wildman Steve Wilson.
Sure.
All we would do is go down to Southeast Arkansas and swat mosquitoes for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And those were probably during times of a La Nina or even an El Nino for that matter. And they're all over the place, aren't they?
Right. Well, I think we're making the point, right?
Right.
Or the mosquitoes are making the point. Look, we'd love to see colder. We'd love to see more water. But again, this is not that unusual. I mean, October is a pretty dry month.
It is a pretty dry month. It's one of the driest months. September's very dry.
Every year. That doesn't change. And I think a lot of people think because we flip that calendar over to November that all of a sudden, duck hunters, I'm talking to, everything's going to get right. And I don't know, I don't know if this is a La Nina phenomenon or what, but it seems like we're getting those late fall, early winter rains a little bit later for the last number of years.
Sure.
I mean, you mentioned we've been in a La Nina the last few years, but I mean, like last year, a lot of our public areas, they didn't really get good water in them until January.
And last year was an El Nino year. What's interesting about that, the year before that, if you recall, was one of the wettest winters and springs. We had over 30 inches of rain in that time period from November through March.
But I would argue that a lot of it was like January, February, March, like the tail end of duck season.
Well, the ducks had water, but did they come? Did it get cold enough for them?
Right.
So every year is a little bit different. I know that in Arkansas, for the duck hunters of the world, they want the water and they want the ducks, but you got to have cold air up north. I'm going to throw a name at you. I talked to him earlier today. He says he's been all over these great lands with you and hunting. David Mitchell, the mountain man.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Blue Moon up in White County. I asked him, I said, I just want to know what's going on there. He says, they have water and they have some ducks up there.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, or David hit the nail on the head. If you've got some water, you're probably going to have some ducks. Some of those early migrants that I said, some of these ducks, for whatever reason, Tom, and I don't know the science behind it, they seem to be hardwired. Like, they're those birds that are going to leave, prairie Canada or the northern U.S. prairies, even if there's not like a wicked cold front. They're just going to, the first sign of cold air, hey, we're going to go to Arkansas. We know that's where we can make a good living in the wintertime. I'm simplifying things, but that's kind of what's happening. But so those ducks that get here, when they find water, they're, especially before the season and there's hunting pressure, they're going to settle in. So, places like along the Big Ditch over Humnoke and Stuttgart area on the prairie, you got a lot of private clubs there that manage some early water, either in their rice fields or their woods, and they're probably going to have some ducks. Unfortunately, if you aren't able to manage that water, get it pumped up, catch some of this rainfall we've had, you're probably not.
So it's really nice that within the last couple of 3 weeks, we've had enough water upstream in northeast and north central Arkansas that it's followed the Cache River, the White River, so they're able to flood those fields.
Absolutely.
And once you have the water, you're going to have.
And some of our, some of our areas like Raft Creek Wildlife Management Area, it's right on the White River, basically near Georgetown, and. That flood, the flood state, White getting to flood stage at Augusta and Georgetown last week, we've got plenty of water at Raft Creek Wildlife Management Area.
Open it up, here we go.
Some of our other areas, Tom, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but we have delayed when we're intentionally capturing water on a lot of our forested wetlands, our green tree reservoirs, and that's because decades of doing that too early has deteriorated our forest health, and our grandkids and great-grandkids are not going to have this incredible resource that Arkansas is world famous for if we don't delay putting that water on while the trees are not dormant yet. And look around. I mean, we're swatting mosquitoes out here in the weather
say, there's
garden.
one been flying around
Those
your head as
trees
well.
are not dormant right now, I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
Those red oak trees that are so beneficial to ducks and a lot of other wildlife.
Yeah, and speaking of duck season gets underway this weekend, Saturday. I guess the first round. Be sure you check your Game and Fish guide for your zone as to when. But it all starts
statewide. Yeah, statewide this Saturday. Yeah.
Here's a look at a hunting forecast for your plans. This is for Saturday, Sunday. Very little change expected moving forward. We do have a cold front moving through, and it's going to help cool us off. This is for Little Rock, so you can imagine if you think about East Central and Eastern Arkansas, you get away from here. Some of those valleys are going to be a little colder in the morning, but got your sunrise time there, 6:51 Saturday, 6:52 Sunday for Little Rock area. Is it a half an hour before sunrise?
30 minutes before sunrise.
That's when you're
when
allowed
legal
to
shooting time is.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's the information for duck hunting. I do want to share an extended forecast. This is Friday through the weekend into next week. We're not going to stay cool for long. We are going to warm back up. And by the end of next week, if the forecast trends hold just in time for Thanksgiving and that weekend after, we'll be cooling off again, and it looks to be unsettled, which could bring some more water.
More water is good. You know, a lot of hunters, and I grew up this way thinking like that cold air was that, you know, that was it. It was all about that, you know, those cold north winds. But it's really about water. I mean, if we have water, especially like if the White River floods down, you know, around Clarendon, the White River Refuge, some of those areas, I don't know, Tom. It's like every duck in the flyway, like gets a notification, like, hey, it's time to come to Arkansas. Lots of good groceries down here. But so I'm happy to see, you know, that forecast being unsettled with some water. Hopefully not severe side.
Hopefully not. You know, you get up to 75 one day, 50 the next.
That's a recipe for that, right?
There's a recipe for that. Trey, thank you so much. Good luck on duck season this year. We appreciate your time today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.